Hey, welcome back to the Positive Side Podcast. Glad you're tuning in. Coming live to you from the world headquarters in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Jeremy, Todd, glad and fired up. Real quick, we're today we got Damian Boudreaux on the show. We're going to get into that. We'll talk to him in just a minute, and we're going to get fired up with some motivation, inspiration, and how to get out of funks and all these good things. But I got to tell you guys this: have you gone over to besthalfyear.com yet? I mean, whatever you're doing, stop, hit pause, do whatever you got to do. Run over to besthalfyear.com, sign up. Free class. It's going to be half hour, 45 minutes, but I'm going to guarantee you a way to have the best second half of year of your life. We're halfway through. We're in June. If you haven't hit those goals, and it's been year after year, and you keep missing these goals over and over and over, easy question, when's that going to change? Well, guess what? It's going to change this year. Go to besthalfyear.com, sign up. It's free, and we're going to go over all kinds of things. Goal setting. We're talking about bookending your days, mindset. It's going to be awesome. So do that real quick, and hey, we'll continue to talk about that. But today's guest way more important. Damian Boudreaux's in the house. He is an international recognized speaker, consultant, teacher for the automotive industry, 30 plus years of experience in selling, but really more importantly, 30 plus years of changing lives in the automotive industry and showing people that you've got all the talent already within you. We just got to get it out and show you how to apply it. So Damian, my man, I appreciate you spending time with me. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
One of the reasons and we talked briefly before the show, and I wanted to have you on here because, one of my titles is mindset coach. And one of the toughest times right now in the automotive industry is probably one of the toughest times I've seen, and over probably the last 20 years, is the inventory with these chip problems, and all the lots are just empty. You're a salesman. Okay. You're a salesman and you pick the town anywhere USA, you're struggling. You've got 4 cars on your lot. How do you continue to keep your mindset right and understand that everything's going to be okay?
Well, first of all, it's about productivity, right? And so you don't have inventory, so you got to get it. So one of the great things about my journey is I get to work with the most high achieving salespeople in the auto industry in the world. I have 4 salespeople that sell over 100 cars a month. 2 of them make over $100,000 a month. And we have 50 to 80 car people just littered, probably about 200 of them that I get to work with, right? And this isn't the first time in the history of my business that inventory has been a challenge. And in the past, what we do is we go get inventory. Now, imagine you've got a list of customers who are wanting a specific type of truck, right? Everybody wants the half-ton Chevy pickup truck, brand new extended cabs when it first came out. And that's when I was selling, and I had a list, right? And so now I've got to have this ability to pull inventory to me, right? So you have vehicles, trucks right now that people want, right? Previously enjoyed trucks are a gold mine. You're never gonna get more for your used car than you get right now. And so what I tell salespeople is, look, if you will go get a car from one of your previous customers and bring it to your dealership, buy that vehicle from your previous customers, there's 4 more transactions that follow that, because you already have somebody who you know wants that truck. So you buy the truck to sell the truck. Then you have the truck that you're selling. You probably take it on trade. When you're taking it on trade, you're going, oh my God, who could I sell this vehicle to? I've got another piece of inventory, and you sell that vehicle. And the next thing you know, you have 5 transactions off of buying 1 vehicle. So from a mindset right now, to be productive, you want to get that list of vehicles, that list of customers that have 4 and 5-year-old pickup trucks. It could be cars, it could be Corollas, it could be whatever flavor vehicle you got. But you're saying, look, I want a list of everybody who owns a 2 to 5-year-old truck. And then I'm calling that, oh my God, we need your truck. We want to buy your truck. You'll never get more for your truck in the history of the life of your truck. And I want to buy it. And if you'll just come in the dealership, I'll give you a price for it. You can sell it to me, no problem. Or you can trade it in, no problem. But whatever it is, I need your truck. Then if somebody says, oh, Boudreaux, I'd love to think about that. They come in and they go and you buy their truck, but you already got it sold, right? Because one of the things about my high achievers is it's all relationship business. We're not waiting on transactional customers. So we already have a place for that truck. So when we buy the truck, we sell the truck. And that's how simple the business is right now, right? The greatest way to sell vehicles is to buy other people's vehicles that you can sell. Simple, provides inventory, and it changes everything.
Yeah, and right now it's one of those, when you make that phone call, my truck is worth what? It's because the value is just so crazy. And I think the biggest thing when it comes to that is for a sales guy out there like Damian, come on, I can't do that. I can't, I don't have the customer base. Talk a little bit about the mindset of that, but what I really want you to get into is a strategy. What can you tell somebody? Let's just say you got a guy that's been in the business for 2 years. Maybe he's selling 15, 20 cars a month. What's a strategy? What would be a day like for that person to overachieve? And really, because, the funniest thing I love hearing is, it's so great. Like, I don't have enough time, but you have time to jack around all day. What would be a successful salesperson's schedule look like? And how do you, I guess, what would you tell a person in there for 2 years to be successful?
Let's back up. Let's back up. Let's talk about, how should you do your business? As a salesperson, how should you do your business, right? The second thing is, what is the success timeline of doing your business? So 2 years in your business, you should have evolved your business. The fact that you'd want to get involved in the sales business and 11 years be doing the same exact stuff, that's cray. That's nuts. Why would you want to be in the same business 11 years from now than I am in the beginning of my career, right?
Sure.
So the success timeline is the second part of that. The third timeline is, how do I show up as a high achiever every single day so I can manage my productivity, be showing up at the right state of mind, being in the right energy, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, in every way, having consistent processes that work for me. So the first one, how do you do your business? The first thing you have to do is decide, what kind of business are you in? Are you in a business of transactionally waiting on only dealer-driven opportunities where you're going to close somewhere between 20 and 35% of the people? You're going to have to sell people on liking you, trusting you, and believing in you. And you're going to have to convince everybody that you didn't kill a child yet, and you're a good human, and oh my God, this is a good dealership, and oh my God, I got a good brand, and oh my God, you're not going to get taken advantage of, right? Transactional. Or you can say, I'm only going to talk to people who know me, because it's not what you know or who you know, it's who knows you. And if you're in the community and the relationship business, not repeat and referral, in the relationship business with your community and your tribe, then you become a magnet because you've been solving problems there for years. And at 2 years in the business, 50% of your business should be a magnet where people know you, like you, trust you, and you're the person. And half the business should be given to you by the dealer. We call them the dealer gifts. Treat them like royalty. Treat them with respect. Every one of them has a massive value to you. If you can take that person that the dealer spent 620 or whatever the dollar amount is per unit and give them to you, and then you can take that and make it personal and meaningful and not about the car business, but about something deeper than the car business. That's what I would sell them on, right? How do you do that? You start by being connected to your community, because the business of your business is people. That's the first piece, right?
Absolutely.
Second piece, timeline. When you come in the business, most all of your business is dealer-driven opportunities. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to move that and connect with to where in 2 years you're at 50-50, right? But the ultimate goal is to be 100% relationships, because in the transactional business, you're 20 to 35% relationship. In the relationship business, I'm at 80 to 90% closing ratio. Sure. And the ease of doing business is not comparable. And the time it takes to do business is not comparable. So the way you get these high achievers doing these numbers is because they're not waiting on anybody who's a dealer-driven opportunity. Third piece, how do you show up? How does a high achiever think, right? The first thing they have to do is they have to know who they are at their best. What are the characteristics, the values, the traits that make them go, this is me? They're not showing up in scarcity and lack and doubt and fear and oh my God, I wonder if I'm going to sell a car today. They got it because they know everything they need's inside of them. The second thing is intentionality, right? They have a North Star. They know where they're going and why. And early in your career, it might be, I want to get out of debt. It might be, I just want a nice car. It just means I might want to pay off my student loan debt. It might be whatever it is, it's a shallow intentionality. But if I can get them to move their intentionality to something from something that's extrinsic to something that this is just who I am.
Yeah.
I am helpful. I am generous. I am creative. Those are my highest values. I live in that skill set. That's me. That's what I live for every day. It changes the game, which gives them the third pillar, which is energy.
Mm.
Not just the monster drink energy, but the energy that's spiritual and emotional and physical and mental that they can play at a higher level anytime they flip a switch. And then the fourth pillar is their habits, their rituals, and their processes. And they have to work for customers, they have to work for themselves, and it has to be congruent with who they are at their best. Because that congruency, that ability for a salesman to be real, to be themselves, means they won't sound like a car salesman. It means that they show up and they can say, yeah, I don't think this is a good car for you. I don't want to sell this one. It's not right. No, you should buy one from somebody else. Which people go, well, what are you doing? You're not selling the car. Not the right thing to do,
Yeah.
right? And then the fifth pillar of high achievement is the most important one. The business of business is people. Everything's a relationship. Everything's about helping and serving and loving other people. So if I can get a salesman to figure out their three highest values, and for me, that's helpful, generous, and creative, right? Those three things, and I got more. Man, that's my sweet spot right there
Yeah.
now. Now, I'm telling you, you can put me in the middle of Hurricane Harvey and I'm helpful, I'm generous and creative, and I'll have transport planes flying in from Memphis, Tennessee in 3 hours because the universe just aligns with me.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I got a Black Hawk helicopter outside of the Civic Center because I'm on the head of the medical disaster relief team, and it's taken a group of nurses to Port Arthur where there's a kid stuck in an attic because he's about to run out of oxygen. You put me in any situation where I can be helpful, generous, and creative, and I will crush it. The universe makes, oh my God, there you go. That's the way
Yeah.
you do it, right? So that's what we teach salespeople.
It's interesting that you said that, and you said salespeople, I guess, in generality, because this is, we talk hard business, but this is for any salesperson and any, and we're all salespeople, right? I mean, we're all selling our kids, we're selling our spouses, we're all in the sales business, and we got to all understand that. But what the beautiful thing with all that you said, you never once said the word closer. You don't need to be this awesome closer. And I think that's what gets people like a little leery of the car business or leery of sales. I'm not a good closer. You don't have to close if you do the right job. If you do the right thing every single time, and all those pillars that you went over, if you're honest, straightforward, shooting, you give a shit, you're upfront, you don't need to close the door because they're going to ask you for the business. And I think that's so important. And I'm glad you talked about that. Talk a little bit more about, I mean, again, what I love about everything you just said there was that is me 101. Like I always tell people, hey, I'm not the biggest closer in the world, but I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna sell myself. I'm gonna talk about their family because I truly give a shit. I want to learn about them and what. And Ali Reda said it great. I watched a video and it's probably gone viral 1,000 times. He was on some news station or some shit, and the guy was like, he was talking about about selling the right card. He's like, come on, you wouldn't really turn somebody away. He's like, well, absolutely, I would. And I think that's the beautiful thing about not only sales, but also the car business. If you want to be successful in the car business or sales, just be yourself, do the right thing, and you're never gonna have to worry. You never got to second guess that. You go home, you sleep better, and life is so much good. And not only that, like you said, you set an example for yourself, for your team, for your family, for your kids, for your loved ones. It's a respect. And that's what I love about what you're saying here is that you don't have to be a great closer. If you want to get in the industry, just be a good person and it will come through for you. If you're okay, so we go back to the salesperson again. If you're 2 years in, are you picking up the phone and going back to back to the people that maybe you sold? Well, now you can call them back 6 months ago. Hey, I have a guy that wants to buy your truck. Can you come in and let me buy your truck from you? I'll find you maybe a little bit newer one, and I'm going to sell your truck to someone else. Is that the transaction things that you're talking about? Because I know I'm going to show this video in sales training. And my guys are going to be like, well, what do I do now? I mean, I get what he's saying, but how do I tangibly do that?
Yeah, so let's look at the rules of engagement again, the first three rules. How do I get it to work for the customer? How do I get it to work for me? And how do I do it from integrity and honesty, right? So first thing is, how do I get buying somebody's vehicle to work for them, right? I paid them too much money, right? Well, we're there. Great news. We are there.
Yeah,
You are going to
absolutely.
get more money for your truck than you ever thought
Abs-
of ever getting for the history of
Absolutely.
your life. So
Yeah.
number one, does it work for the customer? You doggone right it does. Number two, does it work for me? Well, if the dealership is paying me a spiff for buying trade-in, buying used cars, which most every one of them is right now, I would say, yes, it's a profit center for me. It allows me to reconnect with somebody who already likes me, trusts me, believes in me because they bought from me or they bought from this dealership. So we have a relationship foundation already. They may be getting service from here, whatever it is, they're already connected with me, right? And the third thing, how do I talk in a way that is me? I'm not using
Mm,
word tracks. I don't teach scripts. I say,
so
look,
good.
talk like you talk. I'm from Louisiana. Okay. Now, whether you know it or not, we kind of different. We cook different, we eat different, we
Yeah.
party different, our parades are different, our people are different, everything. Why would I want to act like I'm somebody from Indiana?
Yeah,
Why would
absolutely.
I want to talk like somebody, who's on one of the videos? Just be Boudreaux, right?
Yeah.
I don't ever have to apologize for being me. And everything I need to be successful is inside of me, right? Everybody talks about Ali Reda, right? The shiny object, I call him.
Yeah.
And we always say everybody likes the shiny object. But the truth is they're not really, that's not really what they're after. What they're after is if they see the shiny object, they know that part of that shine is in them.
Mhm.
And if we can get them to see themselves at the same level because they have that shininess, and then we can show them how to shine themselves up, just like he did, it changes their view. You should not have me or Ali Reda on a pedestal because when you put us on a pedestal, you're lowering yourself.
Yeah.
And we ain't nothing special. We just did the work. We showed up the way worked for us. We showed up our customer in the way to work for them. We were truthful. You can't sell 40 cars a month and lie.
Yeah.
Just can't do it, right? You ain't that smart. You
Yeah.
can't remember to lie.
You're exactly right. It's funny that you say that, and it's so refreshing to hear because sales 101. Let's memorize the scripts. Memorize the scripts. What's the script
My
say?
God, so out of integrity with life.
Well, it's just so funny because when you do that, and it's just there's two schools of thought. Scripts are the best, or scripts suck, and I'm a big fan of what you're saying there too because I'm not a big fan of scripts. If and when you start trying, like you're exactly right, man. When you start trying to be like somebody else and reading word for word, and then someone asks you a question in the middle of it, you're like, shit, what do I say? Oh my gosh, where do I go now? I mean, it's a disaster. If you just talk from the
A
heart and you come from
disaster.
yeah, and there's a great line that I learned at one of my old companies, Southwestern Consulting, and it said it's hard to be nervous when your heart's on service. If you're talking through service and you want to be the best that you possibly can, there's no reason to be nervous. There's no reason to be nervous. You're giving everything you got. So I love what you said there, and I appreciate you bringing that out about the
Yeah,
scripts.
just being Jeremy is perfect, man. You never have to apologize for being the guy who brushes your hair in the morning or shaves your head in the morning,
Yeah, you got
right?
that right. One of my favorite books of all time is John Maxwell's book, Good Leaders Ask Great Questions. And he has these 7 leadership questions in there that I want to go over with you. I can't wait to hear your answers. Question number 1 for Damian Boudreaux, international speaker, badass trainer, the real deal, Holyfield.
Just a
Damian
real
Boudreaux,
negative, just a regular guy.
regular old dude. Yeah. Question number 1 is, what is the greatest lesson you've ever learned?
Oh, I am nothing.
Mm,
I'm nothing. I'm nothing. And it showed up in my life when I was on the magical misery tour of life. I had a daughter who was born who was critically disabled. I was $300,000 in debt, credit cards maxed out. You can't make enough money. Your child's in and out of ICU, over 900 days in ICU, and about 100,
mm,
900 days in the hospital, and 140 days in ICU, and a period of about 6 years. And my future ex-wife kidnaps my children and takes them away, and I'm alone, and my lights are turned off, and I'm in a sparsely, I'm not even furnished apartment, and I'm crying in the bathtub, and my lights are off, and a little tea light um, on the top of the commode, right, lighting up the room, and I'm crying, and I'm just going, "You ain't nothing. you ain't nothing. I'm nothing. And I remember I'm hitting my hand on it. You ain't nothing. You ain't nothing. You ain't nothing. And I'm crying and I'm just dying and I'm just going, this is all you are. You got to make this work. This is it. And in that moment in my life, I tore off everything that I thought was important. And what I ended up with was I'm inadequate and I'm imperfect and I am nothing. And that gave me the ability to say, I no longer have to be impressive. I just have to be Damian.
Yeah.
And whether you like me or don't like me, I don't give a shit. I'm just gonna be me.
Yeah.
Right. And there's certain things I can do and certain things I can't do. But it gives me so much power to know you can't hurt me.
Yeah.
You can't take more from me. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I
And
know the feeling.
so that's it, right? I'm nothing. Great
Uh,
place to be. It's actually the fourth dimension, in the third dimension, fourth dimension, quantum physics. It's
sure.
fourth dimension, right? I'm nobody.
It's interesting you say that because, I thought I've been through those exactly brutally tough times when you're all alone on that island. And, but it's the way I always say it is that's okay. I'm perfectly imperfect. And if I don't like me, no one else will. You can't help yourself until you can't help anyone else until you help yourself. And I'm totally okay with everything. I'm totally okay with who I am, where I've been through. It's been some tough times, but
Yeah, I feel it. Yeah. And that's what makes us great, I
oh,
didn't
there's no
get here
doubt.
because I got my ass kissed. I got here because I got my ass kicked.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, exactly. Question number 2, Damian Boudreaux is Damian. What are you learning now?
Oh, that's easy. I'm starting to know what I'm learning now. You have to know where I was a year ago, right? A year ago, the universe was saying, be still. After
Mm,
not being still, after going full blast. You remember, as a teacher, as a trainer, as a coach, Bob Moore is promoting me all over the country. I've got, seminars that I'm flying into. I'm speaking in front of about 200 salespeople and I'm flying out and I'm going here and I'm going there. And then all of a sudden you're doing nothing, right? And you
mm,
have to be still. Not so
yeah,
easy.
no,
Stop time, right? Just go, okay,
yeah,
just relax, right? And then mom passes away, dad gets cancer, he almost dies. I become the primary caregiver because my life is such that I'm very successful and I don't have to be out in the world and participate in life like normal people do. So I get to be the caretaker, the homemaker, the nurse, the chef, and I'm learning now how to start back up,
mm,
how to get momentum, how to re-implement the habits and rituals and stuff that I naturally used to do at 6 in the morning. And now starting at 7:15, I'm going, man, you need to get your ass and
yeah,
where
yeah,
that energy level just isn't there right now. And it's like, come on, boy. Yeah. So I'm learning that I got to put a fire under my butt. And if I was doing something for somebody else, it would do it, but I still am not going into storage, right? Yeah. That's what I'm learning now.
Question number 3 is how has failure shaped your life?
I'm nothing. Look, look, when life unwittingly drags you through the deepest, darkest bowels of hell, and you come out on the other side, that's not where the success and the learning happen. The success and the learning happens is when you have the courage to go, uh, oh shit, I got to go back. I got to go back in there. And you
Yeah,
climb back into the abyss and you cover all that shit all over you. And you look behind the things and you open drawers and oh no, and you refeel everything. And all of a sudden you get these diamonds, these things that you
sure,
go, oh my God, I can't believe I thought that way. Oh, what was I thinking? And of course you're all in the instinctive role of
sure,
survival. You're totally primal in your survival mode. And but you learn, you know, and then you say, so how do I integrate this into my life? And now I get to share it. So
yeah,
when somebody has a crisis, it doesn't matter whether you lost a child or whether your lights are turned off. You can't measure pain as one is heavier than the other. Your family is still at risk. It's all the same, right?
yeah,
And so failure allows you to realize you're unstoppable. Going back into the failure allows you to find the diamonds.
That's interesting you say that because, and it kind of ties to what the first few things you were saying about, being authentic and being who you are. And one of the things, and when you talk about the failure and going back in there, one of the things that I never wanted to do was go back to some of my failures because I was scared. I was embarrassed. I didn't know how to tell anybody. I mean, not for nothing. I'm sure people have heard the story 1,000 times because of my show, but I was molested as a young kid. And I put this in my book and I never told anybody, not a soul, but I threw it in the book. So it was very interesting when I put that book out there, and it freed me. It allowed me to become who I actually truly am. And then I really didn't give a shit about what anybody thought. I used to kind of a little bit. I mean, if I'm completely authentic and honest, like, I'd care about what, walking into a room and people start, they quit talking when you walk in the room. I used to care about that. But when you put yourself so far out there and it doesn't change who I actually, I would say it doesn't change who I am. It's actually made me who I am.
It made you better, right?
It made me better. Yeah. So, I think about these things and go through that. And I think about what other people listen to the show. And that's one of the reasons I love doing the show is for anybody else out there that has these things that they're just afraid to face. Imagine facing them and then what's on the other side of that. It's like busting through that door finally and allowing the opportunities to come into you. And I would just encourage everybody to tell them that the opportunities are out there. When are you going to do it? You've got to step up. You've got to face that. You got to face it with who you truly are. But
yeah, I think true happiness happens when you can go back into the abyss and become fond of your hell. Become fond of and be grateful for your magical misery tour.
yeah,
Because there's good and bad, and there's bad and good. Nothing is 100%. In U.S. especially, we live in this world of duality: black or white, elephant, donkey,
sure.
Republican, Democrat.
Yeah.
New car, used car. And what we don't slow down to see is in between the white and the black, there's so many fabulous colors.
Oh yeah.
And if you
Absolutely.
just take your time, you will see all these other nice little flavors right in between the choice. But people say, I've got to be over here, and you don't. Yeah,
Yeah.
I gotta be this kind of salesperson. No, you don't. At this time, it might be best to be. But if you're going to grow, you've got to constantly break how you're thinking so that what was productive at 15 cars is not productive at 25 cars.
Correct.
Not at all. It's a waste of time. So you're constantly evolving in that spectrum of colors of life, right? The
Yeah.
duality that we're taught in the United States is not healthy.
I agree 100%. Question number 4, and I love this question for multiple reasons, is who do you know that I should know?
Yeah. In what vertical?
Anything. Well, David Long gave me
uh,
you, so it could be
most powerful,
anybody.
most powerful person I know is my little sister.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
she is on the World Economic Forum, and she's at United Nations, and she is the voice for orphans and foster children in the
Wow.
world. And she
Wow.
was a high achieving executive salesperson for Fox and 20 something years ago, and decided to quit and take a trip around the world. Whimsical. We're going to chase summer. And her girlfriend that she went with, she goes, hey, look, one of the places we need to stop is we need to go to Hawaii, we need to go to Australia, we need to go to New Zealand, we need to go to Thailand, we need to go to India. India? Well, we ain't going to India. Why are we going to India? Well, I've been sponsoring this kid with UNICEF for
Oh,
India. And
that's
so
cool.
Chris talks Caroline into going to UNICEF, the Indian kid, and she said, no, everybody got a picture of that kid. You're not the only.
That's awesome.
And she goes there and holds an orphan for the first time on Mother's Day and decided this is unacceptable.
Hmm.
And 20 years later, she works with 35 million orphans around the world.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well, that,
Ali Reda is another one that's kind of a badass. Anthony Trucks is somebody who's played pro football, went to Oregon, and he was a foster kid. And whenever I have a kid who's a foster kid and they have it rough and they have a track record that's awful, I'll text him and I got a little you. I got a little
oh
you.
yeah.
And he'll say,
Oh
oh
yeah.
yeah, FaceTime me, put me on. And all of a sudden this little, 7-year-old, 10-year-old punk
Oh
is
yeah.
talking to a pro football player. And Anthony's saying, oh, you know what? you got it so good right now because other kids got it easy, and this is going to make you great. So just be tough.
That's awesome. Well, any of those people I would love connections to. So
Yeah.
if you could find the time, I would love to connect through email. That would be amazing. I'll get them on the show.
Yeah. Yeah.
Question number 5, 3 more left, is what have you done that I should do?
Well, if you haven't jumped out of an airplane, you need to do that. If you haven't jumped off Haleakala, you need to do that. If you haven't walked on fire or glass, you need to do that. You need to look life in the face and challenge everything you believe that might be unsafe and create fear, and just step into it. Because fear is the acceptance that the unknown is real, and it's not. And so you can accomplish anything. You're fearless, you're unstoppable, you're bold. Whatever limiting belief you have that's holding you back, you need to jump into it. So yeah.
Damian, I love you. There's no chance in hell I'm jumping out of a plane. I'm scared to death of heights, but I would love to walk on fire. I've never done that. That kind of scares me. I would do that.
You need to step into your fear.
Man, I know, I hear what you're saying.
Look, it's totally unnatural.
Man,
imagine
dude.
You're in a plane and you slide your legs out the side of a perfectly good airplane, and the wind starts hitting your leg, right? And you have this person on your back, and then the next thing you know, you're jumping out of the plane. It is like, stop it. But and I'm not even gonna say it took a second or 2 seconds, that once you start falling and you feel what it feels like, it just changes life forever. The first time I jumped off Haleakala hang gliding, I did that probably 5 days in a row, and then all of a sudden I'm doing it myself without, tandem. It's just something fear has never been a fear of mine, right? But you have to start looking at, here's the word, awareness of what you're feeling, and then questioning, what is it about that feeling that is causing me to question what's possible? And once you can start taking a step back and becoming conscious of what you're unconscious of, that allows you to step into every situation and have more clarity and acuity than you can ever imagine.
That's powerful. That's super powerful. I appreciate you sharing that. Question number 6 is, what have you read that I should read?
Well, I don't read. I have a struggle reading because I read a paragraph and my brain goes on a 3-page rabbit trail. So I don't read, but I learn. And right now, the 2 people that I'm learning from are so freaking cool. The first one is about quantum physics and how the body and the brain. I've been meditating now for probably 30 years. I used to think it was called escaping from me. It was escaping my reality, and I found out it was meditation. And then I started studying Dr. Joe Dispenza, and it's like, oh my God, this is so cool. And I'm understanding how the brain works, and how Ka and the brain and then the heart and then the gut and the primal and the instinctive and how I feel in all 4. And the second one is Dr. John Martini. And I like him so much, I hired his daughter to coach me. I always find some freaky high level coach.
That. Yeah, I love it.
But Dr. John will challenge really how we've been trained to believe and think. And my job as a teacher is to understand how to keep the spirit, engaged. What are the 4 light bulbs, and how do I keep the amygdala light bulb from going off so that people can learn and keep the other 3 light bulbs lit up, and so they can remember things and get things. That's why my teaching is so incredible. And then the heart, which is the intuition, right? It's the intuition. It's the trust that, look, I just trust. I'm supposed to slow down right now. I don't know why. I don't need to know why. I trust, right? And then the gut or the throat is the primal. When this goes in, there's something that's a survival mechanism, that's a primal mechanism that's telling me to survive, right? And so learning how all that works is Dispenza and DeMartini right now.
Oh yeah.
And before it was Roger Love, my voice coach, and Brendan Bouchard, my high performance coach, and just cool stuff.
It's super cool stuff. I'm reading, or I'm listening to, I'm not a big reader as of late, but I'm listening to Joe Dispenza's book, Becoming Supernatural. And that's a fascinating read as well. And I've always been into that. I mean, I think that's what separates I think that separates big thinkers. We talk about quantum mechanics. I love that. And I think it was the old saying that the one thing about quantum mechanics is no one understands quantum mechanics, which is fascinating and interesting. I love listening to podcasts. I love listening to all the information, learning about the mind. But man, it just makes you better. It makes you better understanding of what's going on in your life. It makes you a better listener. It's a game changer for all. So, and I'm glad you said that too, because in the automotive industry, that's typically old school frowned upon. It's oh, that's woo. That doesn't make any sense. But in reality, you get your mind right, all these other doors start opening up for you. And I couldn't back what you're saying any more than 120 million%, because it's so
well,
right.
I'm not allowed to talk about it. So there's been times when Ali and I, we work together now.
Yeah.
And there's been times when I go to start talking about this stuff and I'll get a text message from the guy with a rocket ship and a rocket.
Oh, absolutely.
And he said, no, you're losing them. You're losing them.
Yeah.
No
I'm
space
big
cadet
time
stuff.
Yeah. Oh, again, I think that's so important. And you mentioned meditation. I was going to ask you that earlier. I think meditation is super important. I meditate every single day, and I have for years. It just allows everything to slow down. And one of the things I always mention, when I'm coaching my clients and on this show, I always talk about when you slow down, you actually understand that you already have all the answers within, but there's so much other shit going on around our head and spinning around. We can't actually get through the fog. So that's why meditation is important to me.
Yeah. Now, if you want to do something, take Joe Dispenza's advanced course, take the week-long advanced. The studying is incredible. The knowledge is off the chart. The 7 days where you go in and do, anywhere from 2 to 6 hour meditations is life-changing. And look, I've been doing meditation for a long time. My meditation was always extrinsic in that I pictured, and non-guided, that I pictured a lake, and anytime there was white caps on the lake or ripples, that was me thinking about something that's in the future or the past. But if I could just keep it glass, then I can see the reflection of the mountains off the back and the clouds, and just slow down and just make that lake glass. And that's all I pictured. Then I could have a fish jump, right? I'd see the ripples and watch how the ripples move to the shore. And I can this was my environment. Well, what Dispenza did was he took that and he made it go here. So now my brain waves go from beta to delta to alpha to gamma. And in the gamma brain waves, I'm at a different level. I mean, I'm not here. Absolutely. I see colors and lights and fireworks and they're coming to take me away. Oh,
that's so funny. Final question, Damian Boudreaux in the house. Damian, how can I add value to you?
Oh, you did. My 3 highest values: helpful, generous, creative.
Well, we definitely went through that.
My 3 highest values. I am all in. So yeah, you've already done that. So thank you.
Well, I appreciate jumping on the show. I know you're very, very busy. I enjoyed this more than you know. I think it's awesome. This will be out across the galaxy here. Hopefully, I'm going to get this out real quick. I'm going to get this probably out tomorrow morning. It'll be out. The message is so important, and it's very it's time sensitive as well. So, Damian, if anybody wants to learn a little bit more about you, where can they find you? Where can they connect with you? Tell everybody where they can check you out.
Well, you can go to my Facebook page. You can go to Auto Training Academy. If you'd like any free content, howtosell100cars.com is a copy of the book, free copy of the book that Ali Reda and I wrote to help people kind of understand about getting to your next level, kind of covers some of the things we cover. I'm on Clubhouse a lot, and they can reach out privately. I'm here to help.
Well, I know you are, my friend. And again, man, it's just your whole personality, your whole persona just exudes authentic and willingness to help and willingness to work. And I love that, because that's what this show's about. It's about changing people's lives, giving them a different perspective, and motivating them. The saying that, hey, your imperfections make you beautiful. For everybody listening to the show, make sure you share this show. Make sure you share it to someone that you care about. Share it to someone that's in sales. If you've got any questions, reach out to Damian for sure. I know he'll reach right back out to you. If you got any questions for me, don't hesitate. Go to jeremytodd.com, get signed up for the Monday Motivation. That is flying off the shelves every Monday. We're rocking and rolling with that. If you got any questions, obviously, jeremy@jeremytodd.com. I say it in every single episode, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. You've got greatness within. Like always, this is The Positive Side.